Section 6.1, Part 2, Graphs of the Sine and Sine function. Your homework are problems 18 through 24. Part 2 will emphasize translations of the sine and cosine functions. So to recall general shifts of a function, if a function has a plus k, then we have a shift up k units. If it's a minus, it'll be down k units. If we have a plus or minus within the argument, then it's a shift to the right or left. If it's a minus, it's a right h. If it's a plus, it'll be a left. If we have a negative in the front of our function, then it's reflected across the x-axis. If our negative is within our function, then it's across the y-axis. Strategy for picking key x values for a function, such as cosine of b of x minus h. Solve the compound inequality for x of 0 is less than or equal to b of x, b times x minus h less than or equal to 2 pi. Divide the solution interval into 4 equal parts. Adjust any stretches, compressions, or reflections as needed, and this is found when you do the chart. Okay, let's do an example, and it's pretty straightforward. It's just a lot of algebra, a lot of working your problem out. So let's follow our steps. So we have a horizontal shift to the right pi over 3 units, so it's shifting our sine graph to the right that amount of units. So instead of actually moving the chart over, you can graph a chart from scratch again. So let's take our argument and let's solve for it as 0 is less than or equal to x minus pi over 3 is less than or equal to 2 pi. Okay, let's go ahead and work it out. Let's solve this out. So we add pi over 3, we add pi over 3, and we add pi over 3. So then we're left with pi over 3 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 2 pi would be 6 pi over 3 plus pi over 3. That gives us 7 pi over 3. So 7 pi over 3. All right, let me erase my side work so I don't lose my space. All right, so that is our interval. That is our length of one period. We have an interval starting from pi over 3 and ending at 7 pi over 3. Okay, from there, we want to find our 5 points. So we know the first and the last. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 5 points. We're going to start with pi over 3 and end with 7 pi over 3. To find the middle points, we have to find the length of our period and divide it by 4. So let's just subtract those 2 points. So that I have 7 pi over 3 minus my second one, or my first one, pi over 3. And we're left with 6 pi over 3, which is 2 pi. We divide that into 4 pieces so we can know how much to add between each interval. So 2 pi divided by 4, or 2 pi times 1 over 4, we get pi over 2. So we're going to add pi over 2 between each number so we can find the difference. So pi over 3 plus pi over 2, that gives us 5 pi over 6. And if I add again pi over 2, that gives me 4 pi over 3. And if I add again pi over 2, I get 11 pi over 6. Okay, So let's go ahead and find these values. We can do a chart. So we start with pi over 3, then we have 5 pi over 6, 4 pi over 3, 11 pi over 6, and 7 pi over 3. And we plug it into our function, which is sine of x minus pi over 3. If we plug them in, and for the sake of not making the video too long, I'll just go ahead and tell you what you should be getting. So for the first one, you should get 0, then you should get 1, 0, -1, and 0. So we plug them in to our function. We want a graph that has a high of 1 and a low -1. So I have 0, then I have pi over 3, 5 pi over 6, 4 pi over 3, 11 pi over 6, and then we want 7 pi over 3. All right, let's go ahead and plot our points. So I have 0, 1, 0, -1, and 0. And let's go ahead and connect our graphs. Make sure they're a smooth curve. And there you have it. Now, I think the most challenging part is actually going through the process to find your period, dividing it by 4. But if you follow your steps, you should be in good shape. Let's do one more together. All right, so let's start off by bounding this between 0 and 2 pi. So I have 0 is less or equal to x plus pi over 4, less or equal to 2 pi. All right, let's solve for x. So let's subtract pi over 4 to each one, minus pi over 4, minus pi over 4. And we're left with negative pi over 4, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 7 pi over 4. Okay, we want to find our 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that we can use our chart to work our way around creating this graph. So we know our interval is between negative pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. So that's our first and our last point. Negative pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. Now I want to find those points in between. So to do so, I can find the difference and divide by 4. I want to find the difference and then divide by 4. So the difference would be 7 pi over 4 minus negative pi over 4. And that gives us 8 pi over 4, which is 2 pi. So the length of our period is actually 2 pi. To find the difference between each point, let's divide it by 4. So 2 pi divided by 4, we get pi over 2. So between each point, we're going to add pi over 2. Okay, so negative pi over 4 plus pi over 2, that gives us pi over 4. Pi over 4 plus pi over 2, 3 pi over 4. And then 3 pi over 4 plus pi over 2 is 5 pi over 4. Okay, and those are our 4 points we're going to map out. Now, once you find your first 3, they kind of repeat. So you really need to find only your first 3. negative pi over 4, pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. Okay, let's go ahead and plug them in. I'll do the first one with you. So I have 3 cosine of x plus pi over 4. We work it out. We have 3, and I have cosine of negative pi over 4 plus pi over 4. So I have cosine at 0. Cosine at 0 is 1. So I technically have 3 times 1, which is 3. Alright, so that's how you work it out. Just it's an order operation problem. So we're left with 3, 0, negative 3, 0, and 3. Okay, let's go ahead and graph this. So we have 0, negative, oh, we start at negative pi over 4 here. So I had negative pi over 4, 0, pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. And our graph is from 3 to negative 3. So we have 3, 0, negative 3, 0, and 3. Oh, we don't have one at 0. So we have positive 3, and that pi over 4 we have 0, and I have negative 3, 0, and up 3. And here is our graph. All right, so this is how you go about with shifts. Now there's 2 more problems I want you to try. I want you to try the following. Graph y equals 2 cosine of 3x plus pi. So pause your video and give it a try. Okay, now let's unpause it and see if we're on the right track. So here is your work for this problem. We see that we take our argument 3x plus pi, we bind it between 0 and 2 pi. So we find that we have an interval between negative pi over 3 and pi over 3. We find the difference, divide by 4 to find our difference between each point, and we can graph our function. Next, I want you to graph y equals 3 minus 2 cosine of 3x. Now pause your video and give it a try. Okay, once you're done, unpause it, and let's see if you're on the right track. So I have the work done for you and your graph, so you can go ahead and check your work. Okay, this was section 6.1, part 2. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thank you.